Hey guys, normally, like when I did my review of Spyro 2, I did a little intro video, uh, in fact the opening video for the game that I had on my PS3. Um, I'm not going to do that for Spyro the Dragon. You already know, or should know that I'm reviewing it. It's very similar to the Spyro 2, and I'd rather just get right into the review. It's going to be a quick one, uh, and the question really would be, is the original Spyro better than its successor? Uh, and especially concerning before I had found it on the PlayStation Store, I had never played the original. So does it beat out the nostalgia factor that I have with Spyro 2? You're just gonna have to watch and find out. So let me start off by saying, story-wise, it's a little bit more concrete and it's better explained, which is weird than its sequel. Um, Basically, Nasty Gnorc, which is someone who was banished from the dragon world, um, is watching this interview with the big dragons and turns them all to crystal because they keep calling him ugly, and he doesn't think he's ugly. I'll tell you what, he is. Maybe it's just the polygon, kind of, modeling, but whatever. Um, and the gist of it is all the dragons get hit by this magic spell and get turned to crystal. But Spyro doesn't. Why? Because he's too short, it goes right over his head. And it's up to Spyro to save the dragons. Nasty Gnorc has minions in all the levels. There's probably 5 or 6 levels per world, about 5 or 6 worlds, including the final one. And his enemies, when you beat them, turn into the treasure that you have to find. So not only do you have to free the dragons in each level and world, you have to find the treasure. And really, that is all you have to do. I mean, there's 80 dragons. There's like 14,000 gems. There's this little egg thief that you have to catch. There's 12 of them, and that's a little edit challenge. You gotta chase him around till you hit him. That's mildly frustrating, but not too difficult. It's very fun. Um, so basically, story-wise, it's good. It has a plot. It has a definitive ending. It doesn't, bog down anywhere in the middle. The goals are set straight from the beginning, and you know what you have to do. So, in terms of story, it's superior to Spyro 2, which really doesn't explain anything about Ripto, or, other than he's the bad guy and you gotta beat him. Moving on. Gameplay-wise, the controls are pretty simple. I mean, you can pretty much tell, if you've played any other Spyro game, or if you've played the second one, you know how to play the first, basically. But it is definitely difficult going from something that I know so well back to an older version, or an older game in the series. Some of the controls that they introduced in the sequel don't exist here, and I kept finding myself wanting to, I'm almost making a jump and I want to hit triangle to do that little extra jump, forgetting that hitting triangle makes you stop mid-flight. So I died a lot with problems with that. The power-ups are mandatory. They're not optional in all the levels. What's cool is that if you've already beaten an enemy, they drop this little pearl-like little life sphere. Get enough of those, you can gain a life. So that's an easy way to, build up your life count if you keep dying, like I did at some point. Which I was surprised. This game is kind of tough with some of its challenges. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of them, but some of them are rather clever and pretty tricky. But needless to say, I finished with 120%. I got everything. So I gotta say, based on the goals that this game sets for you, and the controls, and even graphically, it's not that much worse for wear than its sequels, considering it was only about a year apart from its release. Um, Something that I had a complaint about is in its sequel you have a whole bunch of friends, Hunter, Elora, the professor and stuff like that, Moneybags. In this one, you really don't. It's just Sparks and whoever you meet along the way. I mean, it's just the dragons, and I guess in a way, I wish there was more companionship for Spyro. Um, but basing my review on the goals that it sets, the story that you're introduced to, how fun it is to pick up and play, and the real question is it worth the money that they're asking for? And here's what I gotta say to that. Yeah. It's a very tough decision whether or not the original is better than the sequel, which you would think that the sequel improved upon its predecessor. And in some ways it does, but I gotta say, hands down, now that I've played the original, you just can't beat the original. It's the original. And for $5.99, just like its sequel, it's good. If you have access to it, pick it up. I mean, it's an awesome PS1 classic. Really, I feel that the quality of games that came from that time period, that era of gaming, they're really good. Even if you look aside from the outdated graphics, the core concepts are awesome. I gave its sequel, Spyro 2, I gave Spyro 2 a 7.5 and a rather lenient 8 out of 10. I gotta say, Spyro the Dragon, hands down, is superior to its sequel. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. So there you go. I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was fun. And I gotta say, I'm looking forward to, maybe expanding my horizon with the Spyro franchise. Maybe. The third game's out on the PSN. I might pick it up. I don't know. I'll let you guys know if I decide to do that. But anyways, it's an awesome game. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. What are you waiting for? Go pick it up. Later.